In 1998, a Vatican librarian disappeared after claiming he found proof that human history is 200,000 years older than we've been told. His evidence? It's locked in a vault that doesn't officially exist. Deep beneath Vatican City, past the tourists and the Sistine Chapel, there's a place most people will never see. The Vatican Secret Archives. 53 miles of shelving. Documents spanning 1,200 years of human history. But that's not the part they're hiding. Because beneath the secret archives, there's another level. One that's not on any official map. One that requires clearance from the Pope himself to access. And in 1998, a senior archivist named Father Giulio Tersini claimed he'd been down there. What he saw, he said, would rewrite everything we know about human civilization. 3 days after making that claim, he vanished. The Vatican said he'd taken a personal leave. His family said they never heard from him again. Let me tell you what we know about this forbidden archive, pieced together from testimonies of Vatican insiders, leaked documents, and one terrifying interview that was scrubbed from the internet within hours of being posted. The subarchive, allegedly called Archivum Arcanum, in internal documents, contains materials deemed too dangerous for scholarly review. We're not talking about embarrassing church scandals or financial records. We're talking about objects and documents that predate Christianity itself. Predate Rome. Some say they predate written history. According to a 2003 testimony from a former Swiss guard, the entrance is hidden behind a false wall in the deepest section of the regular archives. It requires 3 separate keys, held by 3 different cardinals who are never allowed to be in the same room together. Why? What could possibly require that level of security? Father Tersini's colleague, a man I'll call Marco, agreed to speak with an independent researcher in 2001 under condition of anonymity. The interview was recorded. I've listened to the audio file dozens of times, and his voice still gives me chills. Marco said that in the weeks before his disappearance, Father Tersini had been obsessed with inconsistencies in ancient Sumerian texts held in the Vatican's collection. Texts that mentioned the time before the flood and the kingdoms of the first men. Standard ancient mythology, right? Except Tersini found something that shouldn't exist. A series of clay tablets, recovered by the Vatican during excavations in Iraq in the 1920s, that contained detailed astronomical charts, star positions, planetary alignments, calculations that were mathematically accurate to within a fraction of a degree. Here's the problem. These tablets were dated to approximately 8,000 BC. That's 5,000 years before the Sumerians supposedly invented writing. 6,000 years before anyone should have had the mathematical knowledge to create such charts. But it gets worse. According to Marco, Tersini was granted rare access to the subarchive to investigate the tablet's origin. What he found down there made him physically ill. He described rooms filled with artifacts that made no historical sense. Stone carvings depicting human figures alongside creatures that look like dinosaurs. Metal objects that showed no signs of corrosion despite being carbon dated to impossibly ancient eras. Maps showing continents in positions they haven't been in for hundreds of thousands of years. But the item that broke him? A crystalline sphere, approximately the size of a human head, that displayed moving images when held. Not projected. Not reflected. Images that appeared to move inside the crystal itself. The images, Tersini claimed, showed cities. Massive, sophisticated cities with architecture unlike anything in recorded history. And people. Advanced civilizations. Technologies that seem to blend organic and mechanical elements in ways we still can't achieve. The dates carved into the pedestal beneath the sphere? 247,000 BC. When Tersini tried to bring his findings to the attention of the Vatican's Historical Research Committee, he was immediately shut down. His access to the subarchive was revoked. He was reassigned to clerical work in a remote monastery in Portugal. But Tersini couldn't let it go. He confided in Marco that he'd managed to smuggle something out. Photographs, detailed notes, proof. He planned to go public. He contacted several journalists, including one from National Geographic. He scheduled meetings. He prepared his evidence. That's when he disappeared. Here's what's terrifying. Father Tersini isn't the only one. In 1962, a French archaeologist named Dr. Henri Moreau was invited to examine certain Vatican holdings related to pre-Christian artifacts. He published one preliminary paper describing anomalous objects of uncertain origin before his research grant was mysteriously pulled. He died in a car accident 6 months later. His notes and photographs were never recovered. In 1979, a British historian named Margaret Whitmore spent 3 months in the Vatican Archives researching early Christian texts. In her final week, she requested access to certain sealed collections mentioned in 15th century inventory lists. Her request was denied. She returned to London and immediately suffered a mental breakdown. She spent the rest of her life in a psychiatric facility, repeatedly claiming, "They're hiding the truth about where we really came from." In 1985, an Italian journalist investigating rumors of secret Vatican vaults was found dead in his apartment. Ruled a suicide. His research files were gone. In 2016, something extraordinary happened. A document appeared briefly on WikiLeaks before being taken down. It was labeled Pontifical Commission on Historical Anomalies, Internal Memorandum, 1954. The document discussed the formation of a special Vatican committee tasked with securing and suppressing archaeological evidence incompatible with accepted historical chronology. It mentioned specific sites in Iraq, Egypt, Turkey, and Peru where problematic materials had been recovered and removed. The document concluded with a chilling directive. The faithful must be protected from knowledge that would undermine the foundations of human self-understanding. Some truths are not meant for mortal comprehension. Before WikiLeaks removed the document, it was downloaded by thousands of people. The Vatican never acknowledged its existence. They never confirmed or denied its authenticity. They simply stayed silent. Today, the Vatican Secret Archives have been rebranded as the Vatican Apostolic Archive in an attempt to seem more transparent. They've even opened certain sections to qualified researchers. But the sub-archive? It doesn't exist. Not officially. Yet in 2019, during renovation work in Vatican City, construction workers reportedly broke through a wall and discovered a passageway leading down. Work was immediately halted. The area was sealed off. The workers were transferred to different projects. Satellite thermal imaging of Vatican City, conducted by researchers in 2021, shows massive underground spaces beneath the known archive. Spaces that generate heat signatures consistent with climate-controlled storage facilities. What are they preserving down there? What are they so desperate to hide? Here's what I think. The Vatican knows something about human history that would fundamentally change our understanding of who we are and where we came from. Evidence of advanced civilizations that rose and fell long before the Sumerians. Technologies we can't explain. Knowledge we weren't supposed to have. Maybe even proof that we're not the first intelligent species on this planet. And they've decided we're not ready to know. Father Giulio Tersini has never been seen again. No body, no trace, just gone. But before he disappeared, he left Marco with a final message. They're not protecting us from the truth. They're protecting the truth from us. And whatever they're hiding down there is bigger than religion. It's about the entire human story. What do you think is really locked beneath the Vatican? Why would they hide our own history from us? Drop your theories below. And if you're ready to dive deeper into the secrets they don't want you to uncover, subscribe. Because the truth is always hidden in plain sight. You just have to know where to look.